You don't get a jury in a family court. You only get a judge. Compared to other areas of law, there's relative limited transparency and accountability, which can lead to abuse. Also in family court, people seem to lie more than any other area of law because there's so much at stake. A movie documentary, Divorce Corp, illustrated just how bad the problem is. After reviewing this problem, we'll discuss solutions.
When you go to divorce court, you'll find that judges can do whatever they want.
There is no law in family court. There's only what the judge wants to do, period.
All kinds of basic mechanisms that exist in the criminal and civil courts in this country don't exist in the family courts. In a family courtroom, the judge dominates the proceeding.
In my world, where there's no jury, you are the decision maker. I'm more comfortable with that.
How much time do you have to devote, would you say, to each case?
On a typical Monday or Tuesday, I would have a calendar of anywhere from 15 to 40 cases.
The average case, in all fairness, is maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
The Court of Appeal in San Diego ruled that actually judges did not have to read the pleadings before they made their rulings. So now it's a local rule. If you want a judge to actually read the pleading, you've got to make a special request beforehand. Not too many people know that.
It's not for the father to decide. It's not for the mother to decide. It's for the judge to decide after the judge has weighed all the factors.
All of us make decisions. You decided what color socks you were going to wear this morning, what you're going to have for lunch. But a judge makes decisions for other people. And you make 100 of those a day. And if you make a bad one, you just make another one.
My father was a lawyer who handled a general practice, and he occasionally would take me to court with him. When I was about 14 or 15, he had a case, and the woman was on the stand, and he's boring in on her, and he's boring in on her. He says, "And didn't you on July 5th have sexual relations with your husband?" And she breaks down crying and sobbing. And I'm looking at this, and I said, I got to get into this. This is great.
All judges have the same middle name: God.
Judges are people. They're friends with lawyers. Sometimes they have hidden biases. Removing the jury takes away an important safeguard for having a fair trial.
And it's complicated because the judges have special relationships with a lot of these lawyers.
And unlike other public officials, judges do not have a waiting period between public and private practice. A judge can retire one day, practice as an attorney the next day, and then go back to being a pro tem judge a day later.
Judges will oftentimes try to get very cozy with the law firms that they want to work for upon retirement as a judge. And so it creates a conflict of interest. The other conflicts of interest is lawyers are allowed to contribute to the election campaigns of judges, appear before them in court, and yet give them money toward their election campaigns. And so I'm afraid what that does is it can allow certain law firms to buy influence with the judge. Or if it's not direct campaign contributions, it could be things like appointing the judge to some committee that's a prestigious committee, or throwing a fundraiser for the judge. And so
there's no oversight or accountability?
I wouldn't say there's no oversight. There are judicial review committees, but as we point out in the film, they rarely discipline a judge. It's extremely rare. And those review committees are made up of judges and lawyers.
Now let's discuss ideas for reform. What's the solution to absolute judicial power? It's increasing transparency and accountability. Whenever there's absolute power with little or no accountability, it naturally leads to abuse of power. I recommend these 5 ways of increasing transparency and accountability in family court. Number 1, allow electronic recordings in the courtroom to be used for disciplinary complaints and appeal, only available to the parties. Number 2, measure judicial candidate and judicial performance objectively. Number 3, have more predictable guidelines for disqualification and recusal for conflict of interests. Number 4, eliminate absolute judicial immunity for malicious and corrupt orders. And number 5, enforce the code of judicial conduct with a non-political oversight body. I produced another video going over these 5 measures for reform in much more detail. Click this link above or go to the link in the description portion of this video. There's another problem in the family court system. Not only is there currently little to no accountability for judges, there's little or no accountability for lying or making false accusations.
Because there are so many incentives to lie in court during a divorce, people often make up false abuse charges. Physical violence and sexual assault are crimes, and our justice system is set up to handle criminal accusations like this. But family courts also listen to and act upon such accusations. And because false accusations are so common during a divorce, these cases are typically not turned over to criminal court. Family court judges have to distinguish between true abuse victims and those crying wolf for financial gain.
One of the biggest problems in family court is there are so many false accusations and so few consequences for those accusations.
How could you be married for 20 years? You were a great husband, she was a great wife. Now we're going through a divorce. He's a pervert, he's a drug dealer, he's doing all these horrible things. She's an alcoholic, she's a drug dealer, and she's sleeping with everybody. Did this just happen in the last week or two?
I got a lot of those that happened right at the top of divorce action when both people were in the house and one person wanted to get the other person out of the house.
It may be that, in fact, there is no violence, but they make it up because they've talked with their friends or they've gone to a lawyer who said, well, make it up, and if you really do a good job, then you can get him kicked out. Now you're in the house. You have a big leg up in keeping the kids and maybe keeping possession of the house.
I've counseled women and a few men on how to get the other side thrown out of the house.
How hard is that to do?
If you follow my instructions, easy.
Domestic violence, first of all, is defined so broadly. There's so many things that can count as domestic violence that it's not hard. It's not hard to be accused of domestic violence.
It's really a travesty the way the system that it was designed to protect women from domestic abuse, to protect children from abuse, to protect children from sexual abuse, a system that was set up with every good intention, that was set up to protect those who needed it, has been allowed to be subverted so that false accusers really are able to gain so much by making the false accusation.
The solution is simple. You don't need a big change here. The laws are already on the book. Enforce the civil and criminal penalties for lying under oath. That will deter lying and false allegations. I hope you found this video informative and the proposed solutions practical and worth fighting for. If you did, please share this video with other people so they'll help spread the word too. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch the other videos on my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.